What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Climb Together podcast. I'm your host, Tony Scorpio, with my co-host, Deception. Deception, say hi.
What up?
We are back with episode 147 of the Climb Together podcast. Today, we are going to be talking pretty exclusively about the CDL. This weekend marks Stage 1's major one, if you would. So we're going to kind of do a little bit of a recap of the entire league so far. And then do some major predictions based off of the current inset bracket for this weekend. I'm gonna let Deception take the lead while we kind of discuss so that I could. I forgot to do this beforehand, but we usually do a bracket on an Excel sheet, and I forgot to do it beforehand. So
we gotta pull up the standings, do the bracket, all the things.
yeah, so I'm gonna pull up the graphics and we can chit chat, and then we'll go from there.
Let's look at those standings and see how this all ended up going. A very like I'm not gonna lie, like at least the way that the COD League posted the standings, it seems very satisfying the way that it went. But when you look at standings, very interesting. There there were four teams at the top that were 5-2. Which I don't know if that's ever happened, that we've had like a split that's been like this even.
Mm-hmm.
Um
It's a tight league this
like
year.
it just there's a lot of like, I wouldn't say like necessarily weird stuff that was happening, but this like major, but like I just I feel like the league is in a very different position than it usually is because granted it is very early, but this is probably the most like even and like competitive that I've seen, at least out of stage 1, since probably Vanguard. Maybe even before then, because like Vanguard, what didn't really get truly like competitive to where you felt like anybody could win until we hit Major One. Like
Mm-hmm.
in the very beginning, it looked like that there would be like a couple teams that were way better than everybody else, and that turned out not to be the case. Starting in this game in BO7, it has just been completely like off the wall. Like I truly don't know what's going on. Because I mean, I said initially that I thought that it would probably be Optic, Gentlemates, Phase, and Thieves would be the top four, and they would probably run away with it. Like, if I had to tell you what I thought was going to happen, I thought Optic for sure would probably go 7-0. Gentlemates, providing they didn't play Optic, which they ended up playing Optic, I thought they could go 7-0. But, and Phase and Thieves wouldn't be too far behind them. Honestly, 5-2 out of Phase, I kind of expected. They landed about where I thought they would. But other than that, I mean, you look at the top of the board is very interesting because I mean, Gentlemates is up at the top, 5-2, and they had the advantage by a couple maps. And then Phase was 16-10 in map count, still 5-2. They're looking good. One of the surprises, I mean, I thought for sure they would be pretty good, but I didn't think they would have quite as good of a start as they did as Falcons. Falcons are sitting up here 5-2. They, them and the team that we're going to talk about in a second kind of had the same thing happen. They had a rocky start to the beginning of the split, and then they picked it up once Christmas break came around, and they have been really good ever since. Um, them and the Ravens have both been in that position. I mean, as we know, like the Ravens started with a completely different roster. They had Slasher, and then they started off like 0-2, and then Slasher retires over Christmas break. Um they end up like retooling the roster, and it looks a little bit different now that they really like Gwen is by far their most experienced player now. But I don't know, for some reason Ravens have caught fire. I mean, I said that I was hoping that Ravens would be able to stick with it and make a losers bracket run. Well, they don't have to. They don't have to worry about that, at least for now.
Yeah.
They they are the 4 seed, which is kind of shocking.
Honestly,
But what I think is even more shocking
this is the 4 and
is the
20.
fact that Thieves and Optic are 4 and 3. Um, could not have seen that coming.
I just feel like the depth this year, I feel like with the change, especially like the mixture of rosters, especially breaking apart the phase roster, I think it really allowed there to be more depth within the league. I feel like this is the tightest we've seen the league in a long time, especially like map count when lost. Like
Yeah, this is the tightest we've seen the league
I
since
think there's
Vanguard. Like
only one team that
going
really
into
isn't going
this
into this.
weekend, going into this weekend, there were 3 teams tied with the same record and the same map count at first.
Hmm.
So, and as you can tell, it didn't really change very much. It's still everything's still close. Yeah, I think definitely like breaking up the phase roster was
I think
part of
probably one of the
uh
best things they did for the league, to be
part of the
honest.
solution. Um, I mean, I felt like it was coming at some point.
Hmm.
Um, obviously, like we've talked about it a lot. Like Phase picked up basically all the players that looked really good in BO4 and went into MW19 looking really good. They were really good. They came pretty close to beating Dallas Empire in MW19 and being champs in that game. And then obviously they utterly dominated Cold War. Um, Outside of a couple surprises, it wasn't really that close all season. They won the championship there. Um, Vanguard, I mean, obviously they came up second so many times, but they were so good that it was just like, um, I wasn't, if I wasn't personally that worried about them, even though they really, like, they just kept finishing second all the time. But then we really started to, like, we started to see the cracks a little bit in MW2. Uh, they, they, they were on their game, obviously, but it just felt like they weren't quite what they used to be.
Yeah.
Because as you know, they kept like rotating between a fourth player. It was always the trio, and they had to find somebody else. Obviously, like Arcides and Cold War was a good pick. They got the championship with him. He was really good. And I'm not saying that Slasher wasn't good, but I just felt like the entire time they had Slasher, it's something just wasn't working. Um, and then when they picked up Draza initially in MW3, it looked like they were going to be dominant again. I mean, they kicked off MW3 looking really, really good. And obviously, like they had a little bit of a dip, but then they came back to win EWC. But last last year in BO6, oh, it was looking rough from the start. And especially them getting knocked out of champs and EWC very quickly, I was like, yeah, it's probably over for them. And yeah, I mean, the trio has been split up. They kept Simp and Draza, which is good. Um, but then Abizi went to the Thieves and Zell went to the Falcons, and it's I definitely think it was good, but it's obviously there's been varied results for everybody. Um, because I would say FaZe looks just about how I thought they would. Like I felt like they were a strong 5-2 team. Um, they didn't start out like that good, but they came back. It seems like a lot of these teams that like are toward the top now just had a really good like rebound after Christmas break.
Yeah, they were definitely in the work, you know.
Because
They
the
were definitely
standings
down
were
there.
very different
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
before Christmas break. Um,
Oh yeah. Here, let me find them real quick.
but I mean, the Falcons is the biggest shocker. Like I said, like I think the Falcons team is good, but I thought that they would initially it would be a little bit more difficult for them to adapt compared to the other teams because they just have a conglomerate of players that just like don't really have that much experience together, and it was really like it was kind of like unpredictable on like what you could expect of them.
Hmm.
But they have been really good lately. And Thieves have just been incredibly like up and down this entire split. Like it's like they have had their times where they look like one of the worst teams in the league, and then they have times like um they've had these moments where they look unstoppable. And obviously, like we've talked about that before, because that's sort of like a Kenny thing. Like anytime they look unstoppable, Kenny's usually doing really well.
Yeah.
Anytime they don't look very good, Kenny's struggling. um, but I mean, the only other like big shock I would say out of all of these, everybody else seemed to like go about where I thought they would go. Optic being 4-3 is a little scary, and the main reason why is because they had that initial loss to FaZe after Christmas break, which was kind of like I thought it was going to be like a wake up call, and I think everybody did because they went and played Surge, which I mean obviously Surge is not a great judgment of how you're going to bounce back, but they 3-0'd Surge. I mean they looked great against Surge, and then they they lost their next two, and they seem like I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah.
They seem it seems like something is off. Like I don't think that there's anything like majorly wrong, but it just seems like something is off. Because they lost their next two, and now they're sitting at 4-3. When I think going into it, people expected like 6-1 or 7-0 out of them. Uh, Especially with how they looked before the CDL kicked off. Um, but I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. I just I there's a lot of like PTSD in me because it seems like this always happens. It's happened the last like few years where Optic for some reason just has like a really rough like first major split, and it just for the next like 3 months it's like I don't know what's going on. Oh, it's been so often recently, especially the last especially last year. Last year was probably the worst in terms of like the I would call like the dark ages of Optic. We've had a couple of those periods, and last year was probably the worst.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, like I said, everybody else panned out about where I thought they would.
Yep.
Definitely still some like I do think there are some sleeper teams. Like I look at like G2.
Yeah. I
Obviously,
think
like they've
Jisoo is
had some
definitely picking up.
series. I think honestly, like the way that G2 is, they're sitting at 3-4. But honestly, if they just could have closed out a couple series and done a couple things right that they did in other series that they didn't do in certain series, they probably could be up there. We could have 5 teams at 5-2. Um, G2 have been they've been putting up some really good series, to be honest, for a team that's being 3-4. Um, I mean, you can even see it. They're 16-15 map count. So, I mean,
Killing it.
16-15 map count is, I mean, obviously they've been keeping series really close. So, I would not count G2 out
Nope.
yet.
Nope. The only one that I'd be counting out is the one at the bottom. To be honest, it's gonna take a lot for Surge to make a comeback in this. So,
Yeah,
um,
I honestly like I think it's a long shot that like Heretics and Breach could do anything, but
I think but it's
Heretics
possibility. You know, it's like not like out
Heretics
of the
do
realm.
have their moments. Heretics have their moments. They can when they're on fire, they are really good. And Breach have proven to be a little bit better than we thought they were. They've had some rocky series, but like they look all right. They look like they have potential. Cloud9 and Surge are just I I fear that those two teams might be trying to make a roster change after Major One because I don't know how long they're gonna be able to keep doing that.
Not very, honestly. I don't think that it's sustainable in the state that they're at right now.
They're just like Surge, obviously, like they have TJ now, but like TJ got them that one win, that one series win initially, and it's just kind of like I thought that would energize them and turn them into a better team, but they they basically look the same now that they have the entire season. It's just they have TJ now. That's basically that's how it's going.
I think I think with time there is the ability to make it better. Like I think with the bringing in TJ, it was a good choice. I just think that their roster is so underdeveloped and so new that they do need his guidance. But there's only one of him and three of them, and it's just like the team behind the Surge really hasn't had a good knack for like they have a good knack for finding good talent but not developing it. They usually do pretty well, and then everyone's just like, okay, we'll develop you even further. You know, it's just kind of it's like the team to get you from challengers to pros, like challengers to the CDL, and
Yeah, that's basically how it goes. Because
yeah,
they've
it's
had so many good players that have come through, but like those players often just go to a different team.
yeah, like they show their stuff. I feel like the Surge is like the chat like it's like how
Surge is like the CDL Academy team.
yeah, literally. It's just like we've been preaching about how we need to get like a team, like a couple teams in here that are challengers teams just to kind of like, you know, add more to the CDL, but honestly that's just what the Surge is. The Surge is just a bunch of challenger people that are coming up from challengers um that are like the next up, and then they like kind of like do what they do on the team, kind of slay out or whatever when they can. Usually pretty inconsistent, can't really clutch a dub, but like I mean sometimes like they get really close, but they don't really ever like get a chip, but they definitely prove themselves on that roster that they can compete at this level, and then they go on to another roster to get fully developed into the players that they have the ability to be. And so I feel like throwing TJ on this roster is trying to like fast track that and help them develop a little bit more while they're still on this roster. But since it's just such a new, they're still also new that he just has like a lot of work cut out for him. And I think he's just such towards like the end of his like career that I don't know if he has like the energy to fully develop them, all three of them. Maybe like what one or two, you
Well, and
know, but
it's that, and it's like
each.
it's one of those same situations like that has been going on with Slasher when he was on the Ravens. It's like, can TJ be a good leader for them? Because TJ has never really been the guy to be like the leader.
Yeah.
Because up until the last like 2 or 3 seasons, he was always like the youngest guy on the team,
Mm-hmm.
or he wasn't the IGL. And like now he's basically went from always being like the second or third guy up to now he's like the old man teaching all the kids how to play the
He's the uncle. He's Unc.
game. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like TJ could probably can be a good leader, and I think that with time he might be able to develop this team. But it's one of those things that we've seen with Surge before, where it's like, are they going to be willing to take a chance on developing the team? Because
Yeah.
it has proven to be good when they've taken chances on developing the team. But I mean, I would say that anytime they've had all these other players that have sort of come through Surge and then went to another team to be even better, they've never started out this bad.
Yeah.
Like this is like what's happening right now is like MW19 slash Cold War Surge, which is not good.
No, no, not at all. Um, but so I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this goes. But I think it's safe to presume that they're not gonna make it very far in the bracket this week. But You know what? I love to root for the underdog, so I hope that they prove us wrong, obviously. But at the end of the day, we have to remain realistic and based off of what we've seen so far, I just don't think they have it in them yet. I do think that there is
Yeah.
definitely possibility and room to grow. There's a lot of what is potential? Potential is the word I was looking for. There's a lot of potential with this team, and I think the players themselves are great. I think they just need, honestly, they might need to just change their like staffing around the teams. I think that might actually be what makes the difference for them. Um, as far as like maybe not even coach, but just like different pieces, like assistant coach, analyst, or something like that. Just they need to make some sort of change behind the scenes because it's obviously not the players. I mean, at this point, because like you look and you have like Abuza, O4, there's like a host of other great names that have come from being on this roster or started out on this roster that are dominant in the league now or just really good in the league now that I think would just be it, it's worth looking into more on why they're not really putting up the winning numbers that the talent that they have shows, I guess.
You know what I will say though, and this is not the end all be all of the argument or whatever, but I will say, just a note. Remember when the CDL roster salaries got leaked, and we saw that like there were some teams that were paying like really good, like 100 to 200K, and but there were a lot of teams that were paying like the minimum or barely above the minimum.
Yeah.
Uh, look at the top, look at the teams, and tell and like if you remember the salaries, look at the teams. Like the only team that has been doing very well where the players are getting paid near the minimum is Ravens. Everywhere else, Gentlemates pays really good, FaZe pays really good, Falcons pays extremely good, Thieves pays really good, Optic pays really good, and then you have Koi is the one team that pays moderately good that like is a
Here,
little
I
bit
found
low.
it.
But like all these other teams, G2, Heretics, Breach, Cloud9, Surge, they all pay near the minimum. So you have to like I would start to wonder just a little. This is not obviously like money is obviously
Damn,
not
Jodeci is
everything,
making
but
6. Oh
you
my
would
god.
have to start wondering how like will these teams be willing to pay more to win? Because I mean, you look at like all the teams that are getting paid, where the players are getting paid a ton, they're doing better.
Yeah, I think there's only like I think in this case specifically, um, I think the only team based off of like just my own like knowledge of esports, I think honestly the reason why they're not getting paid as much as they should be or what they would like to be is because they're not winning, and it's a negative feedback cycle. If you don't get paid, like if you don't win, you're not going to get paid as much. But if you don't get paid as much, you're not going to want to win as much. And that's kind of like
I
the
mean, I'm
ideation.
not. The thing is like I'm not saying that like a lot of these players are in here to make money. I think most of them are in here to compete and to win. But I feel like it's more of a reflection of the investment that the teams make.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is like I feel like if Surge would like pay a little more, like if Surge would pay like a top challengers player or try to bring another pro in there for like 120K instead of paying everybody like 60, 70K, they would start doing better. Like it's like an investment because like I said, Toronto is the only team that like pays really good where they're not doing so good, but I wouldn't say that they're doing bad. But like I said, you look at like all the top teams, like the Ravens are paying everybody well, Slasher was on the team at this point. I assume they're paying everybody minimum salary now. The Ravens are the only team that are paying really low that are doing like exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the board, it's like a if you if you were to compare like what the salaries are to to the CDL standings, it'd be very very close.
Let's see here. Like Falcons, I think are probably getting the most. money just because of Celium. Like
Falcons are getting the most, and
Celium's
that's
agent
for
better fucking he makes bank, dude. There's no way Celium's agent is making like 100,000 just off of Celium because there's like
I
eight hundred
just
fifty
dude,
thousand
I
dollar
just
calorie.
knew
Oh my god.
I know that like Falcons like paid. That seems honestly almost like a low ball for Falcons though, because like there was a rumor that they were trying to get Scrap and Hydra for like 2 mil. So
They got the money though. Yeah, the Falcons are just a dominant team. They also did really really well in EWC, so makes sense. Um, especially these like organizations that have a really big presence in other esports. They do have the
yeah,
the resources to invest in these salaries, and I think that's one thing too that we have talked about previously when talking about this is like esports right now it's kind of in a rough spot. I mean, especially with where the economy is right now, where money gets where money gets cut up, like where when you're not making as much money, you pay your bills first, then you do everything else second. And esports is technically entertainment, and so that's one of the things that do get cut. Not one of the things that gets invested in less. Less for brand deals, less for this, less for that. Um, less money spent on merch, etc., etc. So I mean, that's definitely going to be reflected in these player salaries, especially because they were so inflated due to COVID, because everyone was just dumping money into esports because it was just the only thing that was competitive that was going on. Um, so I mean, maybe getting paid $90,000 salary is where it should be. Maybe we shouldn't be getting shouldn't be getting paid $1 million for what, not to win, especially in
yeah.
not
I kind
even.
of feel like I
And this
kind of
isn't even
feel like
like a top
some of
five
these guys are
esports.
paid a little bit too much,
Oh,
but
100%.
like I feel like a lot of these players are paid a little too little.
Some of them I
Uh,
think too little. I think there's a couple of them that are getting under 100K that definitely should be getting like at least 100K. But as far as like a lot of these players, they're making too much in my opinion. I think the only one that I think makes sense is just like Optic, because they literally were back-to-back champions. Uh, and then they were world champions twice in a row, and then EWC champions. So they have the pedigree.
Well, and I've said it before. I'm pretty sure that ever since even the CDL started, Optic's base salary has been 250K.
Yeah,
I don't think they've ever paid anybody lower than that, excluding like the times like last year when they had like skies for like a few matches and that was it.
yeah.
Like anybody that's been paid for to be on a full like season contract, I think Optic's minimum has always been 250K, which is very respectable
But I
for
think
considering how Optic has built caught up from where it was.
I can go on a whole thing about this, but for like for Call of Duty not even being a top 5 esports, I think these numbers are just too high. I think I kind of talked about this before. I could do a whole podcast on the financial aspect of esports. Honestly, I think that might be a good filler episode for when we have like a bye week or something, where we don't have anything to talk about. I think that would be a good topic. I could do some research on it so we could be ready. But um, anyway, there is definitely like some sort of correlation between that and the bracket, the current standings. I mean, if you're getting paid more, it's more incentive to do better. It's more incentive to grind. Maybe a lot of these people that are making 60K are having to do like side hustles and stuff like that, or work at another job to kind of make ends meet. So they're not able to devote as much time to the game.
Well, my rebuttal to that is like the same as Hex is like you're getting paid to play COD for a living. Like if you're getting paid to like compete, then you should like try to build up content and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that would be very good supplemental income, especially because you're getting so much press for being in the CDL anyway. I think there are very few players that would not benefit from
I
doing
mean,
content.
you can be a full time streamer with average 50 viewers. You know what I mean? You just have to monetize those
Yeah, and I feel
50
like any of these
viewers.
CDL pros could easily do
Oh,
that.
100%. I mean, we're
Like,
not we're not you're not saying we have to be like the Scumps or whatever and you have to have, thousands and thousands of viewers.
yeah, I
You
feel
could
like
be Schmo
any
Joe.
CDL pro that just streams scrims and like does some content occasionally and just makes sure to stream a lot could probably be a Twitch partner.
Yeah, easily. And then once you hit Twitch
There's so
partner, I
many
think you're
eyes on them
solid.
all the time that you know who they are. So if they started streaming, like any avid CDL fans would probably want to watch them.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's just like Um, I think that might be part of it too, though. I think a lot of these teams, especially, you're not gonna quit your job if you're making 60K. I think the only way I'd quit my job if I was making more than I was making at my current job yearly. Which honestly, if I was making $60,000 a year, it is more. But that's beside the point. We don't need to talk about that. That's why I'm going to college, kids. Get your education. Um.
There is a clear correlation though between like
Oh
teams
yeah, 100%.
paying more and doing better. Um, and like I said, that's not the complete argument. Money
But
isn't everything, but it
but
is very interesting to see.
it is a motivator, and you're allowed to secure like better players too, because those players with the pedigree, they require more. So I guess we can move on to our next segment of the podcast, just because we are like 30 minutes in. Bracket predictions. I made it nice and fancy this time. I added colors. This is much nicer
Oh wow,
than the ones we've had in the past. So good
I
kudos to
like
me.
those.
Don't worry guys, it'll only keep getting better and better and better because I'm a perfectionist. I just want things to be better all the time. So yeah,
Yeah,
so this is looking at the bracket here. It's very pretty. I did zoom in so that y'all could have a better view. I did make this in Excel just because I just love Excel. I'm an Excel baddie. Um, I'm a business student, so like literally I use Excel every day. Well, technically this is Google Sheets, but we don't need to go there. So, looking at the first bracket, the winners bracket, we have Gentlemates versus Koi, then Royal Ravens versus Thieves, then FaZe versus G2, then Falcons versus Optic. So we're just gonna run down the line like we usually do, and then we're gonna throw the losers into the losers bracket against who they're facing off on, and just kind of go through the whole thing until we get our winner. Um, Deception and I are pretty right when it comes to this stuff. Next week, it has been a while since we do these, so I'm just gonna do a quick little refresher. But next week we will go over the actual bracket to our predictions and see how close we are. Usually we're pretty good unless there's an upset and like a really big upset in round one. But usually we're pretty on the ball.
yeah. If we can, 90% of the time, if we can get through round one, we're pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting through round one is the hard part.
Yep. It is. Um Man, I cannot. Anyway, so yeah, so let's go ahead and go through the bracket and see what the deal is here. All right. So first off, we got the Gentlemates versus Koi. Um, so what do we think about this one, Deception?
I Gentlemates, at the very most, it's gonna be a 3-1.
3-1. I definitely do think Gentlemates is gonna win this one. They have been really good. Like they really turned up here in the last like couple weeks, so it's really
Gentlemates are a favorite.
yeah, their favorite going into this one for sure.
Spoiler alert, but Gentlemates are a favorite.
I do like the Gentlemates. I think it's a really good team. Honestly, that franchise spot has really turned around.
Yeah, it's
Le
shocking seeing
français.
them.
Je parle français. J'aime the
It's
Gentlemates.
shocking seeing the team that used to be the Legion, not only in winners bracket but at the top is it feels weird, but
They're bringing some pride to Paris for the first time in CDL history, and that's nice. Nice to see. They deserve it, the French, like comme si comme ça, whatever. I'm just saying shit. To be honest, I don't know. I barely pass French, so we move. So yeah, so that'll bring Koi down to the losers bracket to play against, I believe, Heretics. Yeah, sweet. Yappy. Okay. So then we have Royal Ravens versus Thieves. See, this is tricky though because the Ravens have kind of turned up a little bit, but I do feel like Thieves might have that they just have like the X factor of Kenny, so it's just kind of depend. It really just depends on if he's locked in or not. Because when he's locked in, they're unstoppable. And I don't know. He seems like a really he seems like a good he's like a good land player. and not as much online. So I think I kind of want to go with Thieves here, or at least a 3-2. It's gonna be close.
See, this is I honestly, um, I think, I think judging by like how everything has gone, there is serious potential for an upset here. But I think I would go Thieves 3-2, just because they're like just sheer experience. I think would pay off over anything else, but I think they will definitely come prepared for
Yeah,
Leanne.
yeah, I
It
agree.
obviously like it mostly just depends on how Kenny's gonna play, but like I feel like more often than not Kenny has been good on land, so I wouldn't be that worried.
Nope. Alrighty, and then we have FaZe versus G2. Um, I definitely think I don't know. FaZe has been on a heater, but at the same time, like G2 finally like locked in this past weekend. So this is where this is. I'm glad that you know what. I'm glad that this is as hard as it's been. It's already being difficult because usually we're just like we breeze through these and like yeah this is it. They're winning. They're winning. They're winning. They're winning. But this time I think it feels a lot closer. And it could go either way, honestly, in some of these cases. And I feel
I
like G2 versus
honestly,
FaZe.
I think it still goes game 5.
Yeah,
G2 is a sleeper team, but I
I
don't think
I
they
think
would be
FaZe
ready
will
to
turn up
play
just
against
because it's
FaZe here.
LAN. I think LAN FaZe is gonna be. We haven't seen this roster together on LAN, but I think they
Yeah,
are
it's
gonna
gonna
turn
be
up.
scary seeing FaZe on land with this team because they definitely seem like they have a pretty high ceiling.
Yeah, so we'll go 3-2, and then yeah, who knows? We might be wrong there. So then we have the Falcons versus Optic. I don't know, man, cause I want to say Optic, but like they have to like lock in. You know what I mean? They've been slacking a little bit. These last couple weekends, they really were on fire before the holiday break, but ever since coming back, they haven't been on their A game, and I don't know if that's because everyone else kind of caught up to them, or they're just something's off. So
I
I'm
think
like,
Optic are gonna work hard to be good at this major.
yeah,
I think they're going to work hard to improve. I think Falcons are gonna take a map off of them, but I think Optic cleans their respawn up and they win this one 3-1. I think
okay, okay. I hope you're
because
right.
Optic's main issue is the respawn currently, and I think they're gonna work hard to fix that problem.
Mm-hmm. Cool, cool. Hold on, let me throw down the scissors bracket here. Yeah. Nice. Oh my god, the colors of this make it look like so much better. Ugh. Oh my god, sorry guys. I'm just like really just reveling in my own like self glory here. This is so much more aesthetically pleasing than like what this like. This is boring. Blah blah. This, on the other hand, is sexy and great. I love it.
We're
Um,
doing we're doing it different this season.
yeah, we are. We're up in the ante. We're bringing more production value. Yeah, yeah. Okay, anyway. Christ. Take away the mic, dude. Take away the mic. Oh, so we got Lozer's bracket. Lozer's loot. Holy shit, dude. I'm like, oh, dude. Being back to school for a week really got my brain like fried in like
You had
so many
too much
different ways.
caffeine today.
Dude, I had a cup of coffee. Oh, I did have like an energy drink, but like I had 2 things of caffeine, which honestly is not
That's
that
it.
much for me.
That's
It's
it.
not a bit. It's just because
That's what did it.
probably it's okay. I'll still pass out at like
I can
11:30.
I can handle my caffeine a lot better than you. I think we've learned this.
I think so too. You're more chill. I need it to like I don't know the caffeine. I
'Cause
have to like.
I've been sipping on my energy drink the whole podcast, and I'm good.
You're still chill. You're just like a chill dude though. Like the thing is I need to like overconsume caffeine in order to meet my normal levels because like this is me normally. But when I'm exhausted, I'm so much lower. So I need to consume the caffeine in extenuous amounts to reach the energy that I have at a normal level. And
Just
then
sounds like you're addicted to caffeine.
correct, but that is
'Cause
beside the point.
that's
That
kind of
is
what happens when you drink a lot of caffeine. Is
I am addicted to
you become
caffeine.
over tolerant of it, so you have to overcompensate to get the caffeine intake that you need.
Correct. So, okay. And then we've got the losers bracket, Koi versus Heretics. I think Koi take this, but I think it'll be close. It kind of like really just depends on like how Heretics starts the day off, to be honest.
I think that the definitely the X factor for Koi is definitely Joe Deceives. He's got when he's on fire, they look like a top 3 to 4 team. But he he hasn't. For one, I hate saying this about Koi because they do have a pretty good team, but Joe Deceives just he doesn't have all that much help.
Mm-hmm. He really doesn't.
like
He's carrying right now.
um
His back be hurting. No wonder he's making so much.
like
Jesus.
he's got Kleenex, which is good, but like that's kind of the thing is this if I had to compare like for people that watch basketball, if I had to compare like if I had to tell you what Koi looks like um Koi looks like the Cavs uh when Kevin Love started getting old and it was mainly just LeBron and Kyrie Irving. It was just them and they just had a bunch of people that were just kind of like role players, not very like helpful, not very good at like getting production. So they did as best as they could, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And I feel like that's like what's happening with Koi. His like Joe Deceives is most definitely the superstar on this team. He is
Mm-hmm.
very good, and he has been very good for a while. He is. I feel like he's one of the more underrated players in the league, and obviously like Kleenex is good, but like I hate saying it, because I don't mean any like personal disrespect by it, but I honestly like I can't believe that Toronto still want to keep Insight on this team.
Yeah.
like
I think it's just because he's been there for
Insight has
so
been
long.
like the odd man out for so long, and they just won't do anything with him.
I
They
think it's just
literally
because he's
passed
been there for
they
so
passed
long.
up on Mercules to keep that
And now
man.
look,
like,
they're regretting that for sure.
but I mean, despite all of that, I do think that Koi takes this one. It honestly will probably come down to a 3-2. I think this is one of the closer series. I think in losers bracket, at least for now in round one. Um, Spoiler alert, but I don't think the other series are going to be that close in round one of losers.
No.
Um,
What are we thinking?
this one will be a pretty good one though. This will be probably the highlight of the Friday if this happens.
Yeah. What are you thinking? 3-2? 3-1?
I think Koi gets it 3-2. I think Heretics put up a good fight, but I don't know if they're ready yet.
Alrighty. Next, we got the Royal Ravens versus the Seattle Surge.
I feel like this is going to be a quick one. I dare say I think this might be the first 3-0 of the major.
First.
like it will shock me if Surge managed to win a map. Um, it doesn't matter which team goes down here. Like I don't even care if I don't even necessarily care if Thieves lose. I think if Thieves lose, I still don't think Surge wins a map.
No, I don't think so either. I
like,
think Surge is just getting first rounded in this. They're just not there yet. They're not there. They haven't developed enough as players to fully realize their potential.
I don't think they're ready.
I mean,
Um,
I agree with you.
I think they are going to. I think they're going to get smoked at this land. I hate it for TJ, but like, I just I don't think they're going to do that well.
Agreed. Okay. All right, next we have G2 versus Breach. Honestly, I think G2. Honestly, they kind of they don't have what it. I don't think they have what it takes. They have what it takes to beat FaZe and winners, but I do think that they are definitely rebounding as a team, and are gonna make something happen in this losers bracket.
I think they win this 3-1. I like Crimp has been so good for them in respawns. Even after, like, everybody initially thought that Crimp was going to kind of be, he was almost going to be like the Spart, where it was like, oh, this new gun comes in because of a meta shift, and you were good with that one gun. Now that it's gone, you're bad. Crimp has proven to consistently be good. He came out of Christmas break flying, and he has been very good. So the whole G2 team has been doing well, but I think Crimp is probably the standout for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think G2 win that one 3-1 pretty comfortably.
Yes, agreed. So then we have Falcons versus Cloud9. I think this is definitely Falcons win. Falcons are just they're a good team. I mean, and Cloud9 just really isn't putting up the numbers that they really should be. So I don't really see this going
I
their
think
way.
I think that's the next 3-0. I think Falcons 3-0 them. I hate picking on the two teams that ended 1-6, but
It's kind
not.
of hard not to.
I'm not confident in Cloud9 or um, Surge winning a map.
No,
Um,
I'm not either. Sorry, I'm filling in the empty space. This might make it better. Yeah, it. Yeah, no, I definitely think that Falcons just they're good right now. They're not. It's not that they're a bad team. That's not. I don't think that's anything close to what it is right now for them. I think that they're just they don't have what it takes to. Optic's just kind of like better in that aspect, but they're still a good team, and I do
I
think
just
they're
feel
gonna
like
do well.
Optic are going to work harder to
Yeah,
going into the major, and I think they're going to beat Falcons for sure.
but it does look. Um. So yeah. Alrighty. So I guess we could do. Um. We'll do round two of winners, I guess. So for round two of winners, we've got um, Thieves versus Gentlemates.
This is gonna be a banger. This is gonna be a really good series. If we get this winners round two, this is gonna be great. But honestly, I think with how strong Gentlemates have been, I think they beat Thieves 3-1. They I think they take a pretty comfortable win. I would say that Thieves probably look a little bit better than them in S&D. I think they take the S&D, but Gentlemates are incredibly good at respawn. They just have so much like slaying power across the board.
Also, too, I think it is to note like there is that like rivalry of like past teammates, and then kind of like Hydra and Envoy kind of getting no Ghosty and Envoy. Sorry, wrong scrawny white dude. Um, Envoy and Ghosty kind of getting screwed over by the like Scrap and Hydra. So like I think there is that aminosity there that carries them through those series to perform better, especially
I
against
that
previous
if
teammates.
we get this series, I don't care when we get it, but I really hope we get Gentlemates 2 versus Thieves on land.
Oh, I agree. I think it'll be
I think it'd be
amazing.
incredible.
If there is no CDL script, they need to put it in the script because whew, that would be good. Alrighty, so Gentlemates take Thieves, and then we have FaZe versus Optic, a tale as old as time.
I think Optic come prepared, especially after losing to FaZe so badly after Christmas break. I do think this goes game 5, but I think Optic can ice it up and win that one. I think that'll be a close one, but
I don't remember. While we do Koi versus Roy Ravens, I gotta remember which team falls into which half of the bracket. Oh, forgive me while I do that. Okay, so next we have Koi versus Royal Ravens going down to the losers bracket round 2.
I think this is where Koi's run ends. I'm very confident on a strong Ravens losers bracket run. Especially with how good they've looked. I mean, I hate that they have to go to the losers bracket because I think Thieves will beat them in the first round. But I think if there was ever going to be a strong losers bracket run out of the Ravens, this is the way to do it. I think that Ravens beat them. I think it will probably uh, it'll probably be a 3-1. To be honest, I feel like Ravens will work to uh, get all of their kind of issues fixed from whatever happens with these, and they will be very prepared. Um, so this is going to be these next like few are going to be difficult after G2 and Falcons. Because I do think Falcons beat G2. I think that probably could go to game 5, but I think Falcons are better in S&D. I hate it for G2 because they're like a sleeper team, but like at least with like the way this bracket turns out, they've got really tough opponents. If they had maybe like a little better opponents, they maybe could like squeeze that series out against another team, but I think that's where it ends for G2.
God, I'm like sorry, I'm like fucking with the colors on this, make it like a lot better for the viewing pleasure of our viewers. That fuck with that. Anyway, sorry. Okay, so then we've got. Wait, what did we say? Sorry, I was like totally not paying attention.
I think Falcons beat G2 3-1 there.
Sorry, I was fucking with the. I'm like fucking. I'm really like trying to get these aesthetics looking good. You know, gotta make it good. I do think. I mean, Falcons. I think that they're just. I think we're the funny part I really do love is we always make like a Ravens like losers bracket run like every time. I feel like it's just so
Like
many
I said,
times.
this is the best time to do it. I think.
Ravens run, Ravens
I
run,
always like before it was
Ravens run.
before it was always I was just secretly hoping it would happen, but I was doubtful. Like this
Almost a
time I'm like,
Ravens run.
yeah, they probably can do it.
They can do it this time. I
Like
mean, we always
this
just
time I'm this time I'm confident in saying that they will make a little bit of a losers bracket run.
yeah.
Um,
I agree. I agree. I think it's a possibility. All right. So we've got that figured out. So we could do we'll do Gentlemates versus Optic for the winners bracket winner, I guess. Um who are you thinking?
I I hate to do it as much of an Optic fan as I am, but I still feel like they're gonna run into a couple roadblocks here at the first major, and they're gonna have to retool some things. I think that I don't think that they're quite in a spot to beat Gentlemates. I think if anything, it'll probably be like a 3-2. I think they're very good at respawn, and the respawns will just be a whole bunch of bang outs. So it's like who knows what really would happen. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that it'll probably be Gentlemates 3-2.
Okay. Gotta go left to the.
Respawns of those two teams are going to be insane, though. Because both of those teams are incredibly good at slaying, so I would expect some high kill games. Um, there and some very close ones.
Okay, back. Sorry.
I'll be interested to see the overload for that series because Optic started out looking really good at overload, and now they don't look so good. But now, like Gentlemates are also like pretty good at overload, so we'll see. I think that'll be another really good series. I think
I
basically
agree.
any series involving like the top like 4 teams will be really good.
Sorry, sisters got home. My ear off. Um, where were we? Sorry.
So now we have to do, and now we're gonna have to do FaZe versus Ravens. Oh, this one's tough. This one's tough because part of me wants to be like, oh, I think Ravens are gonna upset, but like, I don't know if they have it yet. Um, I feel like FaZe are gonna do what they usually do when they've been set back recently, and let's just come back and dominate. But um, I think it'll probably be like 3-1 FaZe.
Yeah. FaZe is just like they're just like a just such a strong team right now. I think they finally hit their stride, and so it's definitely going to prove against a lot of these teams.
It will help.
Right. FaZe forward. Now we got Thieves versus Falcons. I think this goes. I think this goes Falcons. I think Falcons make a loser bracket run. A rematch Optic.
See, I could see Falcons maybe beating Thieves, but I don't know if they beat FaZe. That's the thing.
Depends on how FaZe is cooking. You know.
I will make a hot take and say the Falcons beat Thieves. I think I think they beat them like 3-1.
Like that. I
The
like
thing
that.
is, you don't want to take Thieves to S&D because they're pretty good in S&D.
They
Like,
are.
you don't want to take them to Game 5. So
Because if you're taking Game 5, you're losing.
if you're gonna beat them, you want to beat them 3-1 ideally, but we'll see.
Yep.
That I think that will be. I think that's the hot take of the bracket is that
That one
is the
right there.
Falcons beat Thieves.
Hot take. Let me see. Hot take. Bolded. Anyway. So then continuing our losers bracket, we've got Falcons versus FaZe. I think that's the thing is, I think I could go either way here. It just depends on how each team is playing. I think one team has to have some falter. They're just so close right now. Um,
I think FaZe versus Falcons. I think FaZe won that.
FaZe.
I
Do you think it's close, or do you
I
think? What is
yeah,
your
I think it's pretty close. I think Falcons will be feeling pretty good after beating Thieves, but I think FaZe probably win that 3-2.
Yeah, the
I'm
depth of
just like
FaZe is.
the thing about Falcons is Falcons seem really good at respawn, but they seem like they have some holes in their S&D game currently. I will say though, when it comes to like Falcons, like I'm honestly a little bit surprised as to how good Extended has been. Um, I mean, I definitely knew that throughout like last season, he was probably the best player that they had. But like honestly, he started out like not looking that good, and he improved quite a lot. And he looks pretty good in this game. He looks like he could be scary.
Yeah. Agree.
Dude, this losers bracket finals will be tough.
Yeah. Optic versus FaZe rematch from earlier. I don't know, cause sometimes Optic is just on their shit, but sometimes FaZe is just on their shit, and I feel like here, I mean, they have like pretty much the same reps, I guess. No one's really playing more. Okay, I guess FaZe has one more map under their belt, or one more match under the like one more series. Sorry, not really just I'm just like not wording today. So FaZe has one more series underneath their belt here, and I just that could be good. That also could be bad. Maybe they're tired, or maybe they're just like hyped up. You know, I think beating Falcons 3-2. I think it's gonna be close, and I think it's gonna really boost. It's gonna boost their egos. It's gonna boost their vibes and their momentum. I think that they're gonna take that into this matchup with Optic. And it's just is Optic gonna be on it? Because honestly, with the Optic that was earlier this season, I think I would have said the Optic here 100%, 3-1, 3-0. But I mean, I don't really know. I think it's the hard thing is like Optic really just hasn't been showing up the way that they I know that they can, because Optic in its prime form, I think could 3-1, 3-0 here. Just knowing like, hey, we did it once, we're gonna do it again, or even just 3-2 again. But I definitely win. But I don't know. It depends if they're in their prime. I feel like if they lose to Gentlemates, they're not in their prime. So
I honestly think that FaZe beats them.
yeah, I think if they rematch, FaZe
I mean, as
definitely
much as
wins.
I would love to see Optic just bounce back like they have so many times the last like few months, I feel like this is going to be more of a wake up call than like earlier when they
Yeah,
lost to FaZe. I think losing to FaZe at the major would be kind of tough.
I think I'm gonna say 3-2. I'm gonna make it close. Because I don't think they're gonna go down without a fight. But there are some weaknesses in the team. I think their respawns are gonna be great.
Yeah,
I think at least their hard points are gonna be good. It's just that S&D and overload that I'm kind of worried about.
yeah, I would be really worried about Overload to be honest. They have not been looking good in Overload. I don't know what's been going on, but like they've been struggling.
Yeah. So yeah, so we have FaZe taking the losers bracket, going back into the winners finals here against Gentlemates. I mean, Gentlemates is I think honestly, I think with the way that this bracket works out, I honestly think FaZe could win this. They have the momentum, they have the vibes. Gentlemates has been sitting out. They beat Optic. FaZe beat Optic as well. They're gonna be on this heater from taking Falcons, taking Optic, to the other top teams in the league. And I feel like as long as they just don't lose that momentum, they've got that in the bag. But also at the same time, FaZe has been known not to be able to clutch up in these finals, just like over the years. They could definitely
This is
have
gonna
had
be
more chips than they do.
gonna be a heck of a grand final. It's a best of 7, so there's like plenty of S&D, but there's also plenty of respawn. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, honestly, I,
I think this is gonna be
I
close,
think
bro.
that I think that for all of the fans that have been waiting so long for the redemption arc, I think Gentlemates wins this series. I think it's gonna be 4-2, but
Yeah.
Gentlemates, I think they get it done, and
Get a chip. I think that
they
this is their
finally make
opportunity.
Paris look good.
I think this is their opportunity, and if they don't do it this time, that they're never gonna do it. Honestly, this is their redemption. This is their character arc. They're gonna go demon mode. They've been in the gym working, or been in the lab working, and I think, I mean, if they don't do it this time, they're never gonna do it. I don't think. I think this is the
Yeah,
best setup that they've had going into this, and the best team that they've had going into this. And I generally don't think, like, if they don't win this major, they're not gonna ever win a major. I just don't think it's gonna happen. This is the best setup they could possibly get. streamlined right into the finals, and bringing home the first major chip for Gentlemates in the CDL. Look at that.
Oh man, if you asked me the first time we ever did major predictions that if a Paris team was going to win a chip, I'd be like, yeah, maybe when we're dead.
Yeah. Never. Never. Never.
But I think they get it done. I think that this is Gentlemate's time to shine.
Me too.
They have they've struggled for far too long.
I think this would be the best, and then this would just be, I feel like, the best win for them, for anyone.
I mean, I
think this
still
would be
kind of wish
good.
we get Gentlemates versus Optic just because they played each other so much in tourneys and stuff leading up to the CDL, and it was always a really good series when they played each
Mm-hmm.
other. But
I mean, we get them once in the winners bracket, so that's about it. I would love a rematch though. Those are always nice. So yeah, all right. Those are our predictions. That's pretty nice. Yeah, we really went over it today. We talked a lot about a lot of good shit today. But so this is our bracket predictions for the upcoming CDL Major 1. We'll go over these next week with a reel and see where we went wrong, see where we went right, and kind of talk about it a little bit more. Discuss. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Climb Together podcast. This has been episode 147. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys follow us both on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/tonage_scorp and twitch.tv/deception276. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you guys are watching on Twitch, go check out the YouTube channel, Tonage Scorp, where we post all the episodes of the podcast. Go check out whether you missed part of this podcast, want to rewatch part of it, or you want to watch a previous one. Check it out there. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and like the videos. Any support is good support. Yeah, Deception, say bye.
bye.
Alright, guys, thank you so much. See you guys next time.